American Swahili News and Swahili Villa Online TV. Uh, Today's what, Tuesday or Wednesday? Today's what, the 11th, July 11th. We are live here in Colombia with the one of the famous artists from Colombia here, but he lives in where now? Where?
Nairobi.
Nairobi.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to Colombia again. I think last year we were here.
Same time, same
Same,
place.
there you go, at your mama house. Is that right? And that was the headline. And we're meeting again here in Columbia, South Carolina. And welcome to a show, Baraka Jaccuzi.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Last year when we had these conversations, we talk about your future in terms of your career. And we went over a couple things, and you explained some of the barriers that the artists in Nairobi, Kenya, or in East Africa, just in general, they are facing with respect to the artists from West Africa, because we have seen a lot of artists from West Africa that have excelled significant. Talks a little bit about the some of these barriers like Jaccuzi you're facing now in Nairobi, Kenya, and the rest of the artists.
I think a lot of the artists in Nairobi, and in Nairobi and in Kenya in general, they basically lack the infrastructure. That a lot of these other cities in Nigeria, they have a larger infrastructure, a larger media community, a larger journalistic background that gives people an upper hand when it comes to actually being into the music industry and developing and becoming a breakout star in an ample amount of time or in a very shortened amount of time. And I think that's one of the biggest flaws that we've had in the Kenyan industry, is that most of the musicians that had turned out to be some of the biggest musicians that we began to have, like at the beginning of the 1990s, a lot of those artists in the beginning of the 2000s, even those artists, they never continued to develop the industry by creating their own platforms or creating their own entities or creating their own conglomerates that can trickle down into the upcoming generation to build and open up new doors and new avenues for people to express themselves in the creative space. And that's been, I think, the biggest problem we've had as a Kenyan community.
So you already identify some of those problems that the new or upcoming artists from Kenya they're facing now, since this industry has become one of the famous industry in Kenya. So what are the solution now? Are you proposing to the upcoming and yourself that you can overcome and becoming next, maybe Davido or go ahead, Baraka Jaccuzi.
Suggestions for solutions. I would say, baby steps in the right direction. I feel like we can't just start a record label and expect it to be on the same caliber as the record labels that have been in function for decades in other countries. But we can start by building record labels or building management companies or building PR firms that can now start the process of creating those moving pieces in the entertainment industry. So I would say, let's start by, creating bigger management companies. Let's start with creating bigger PR platforms. Let's start with creating bigger, what's the word? Music
industry?
Not music, where you sell the music online, like in Spotify.
Oh, I got
Let's create bigger streaming platforms that are regional made, like, a Kenyan streaming platform. That'd be great. Or a East African streaming platform or something like that. I feel like those are the small steps that'll get us into those bigger steps and get us in those bigger markets and those bigger rooms for those bigger conversations about how we can, as a whole, conquer more ground for East Africa.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's move these conversations now to the another directions with respect to the production.
Yeah.
And then I know you're more into the producing now this time and promoting some of the new artists, the upcoming artists.
Yeah.
Do you have any project that you're expecting to release recently or upcoming project? Welcome, Baraka Jaccuzi.
Yeah, I do. I have a new project coming out. It's called Venus and Mars. It's myself.
Repeat that again.
It's called Venus and Mars.
Oh, wow.
V&M. It's a conceptual album. It's pretty much about two lovers and you know, robbers, ex-bandits on the run.
Jesus.
And it's like a Bonnie and Clyde story, like an African Bonnie and Clyde story. So it's very what's the word, experiential. So the
Absolutely.
album
Okay.
is going to have a lot of skits built into the songs at the beginning, at the end. It's very visual. So yeah, that's the album I'm working on with a girl named Silverstone Barr. She's one of the most budding upcoming female rappers, singers, entertainers in Kenya. So this is going to be a big year for her when it drops. And next year is going to be an even bigger year for her, just when we're pushing the album, doing all these shows. So I really can't wait for V&M to drop. And after that, I'll be dropping a follow-up album called Mo Vibes.
Wow.
And I'm really excited about that. It's going to be a different side of my music style, a lot of experimental music, a lot of vibey music, a lot of different instrumentations that I haven't used in a while, or I haven't used on such a larger scale. So it'll be a great change of pace. So I can't wait.
Wow. So it looks like, oh, it's appear that you're very, very busy and you're right here in Colombia now. Let's move again these conversations now with respect to the music here in Colombia, South Carolina. So why Nairobi and why not Colombia? And why you primarily focus in Nairobi, Kenya, and not here in Colombia, South Carolina?
Well, I mean, I was born and raised in Columbia, South Carolina, and I have a lot of ties here. You know, my friends are here. A lot of my exes are here. You know, so I have a very strong connection with Colombia, and I worked here. You know, growing up, I threw events from the age of 11 until I left at the age of 21. So I have a long work relationship and just love life with Colombia. Not love life, but my life of love, just because I love Colombia. And so the reason I left was because I felt like I kind of reached a glass ceiling at the time. It was 2015. The internet wasn't the same internet it was now. We didn't have TikTok, didn't have Instagram. You know, we just had Facebook. And yeah, the internet wasn't the same. And I felt like I had kind of reached a glass ceiling. I did the biggest venues I could here. I had pretty much capped my career here. And it was if I didn't stay in South Carolina, I was gonna either go to Atlanta or go to Kenya. And unfortunately, the climate, the political climate of America in 2015 was concerning to me, with the George Floyd things happening, a lot of wrongful deaths through the police, and there was a lot of riots and a lot of protests, and it just was a bad time in my eyes as a Black kid who's still growing and learning himself, and trying to develop and mature. I felt like it wasn't the right time for me to try and develop and mature, and I didn't have enough room to make mistakes here. So I decided to take my talents back to Kenya, and it was the best decision I ever made. You know, because Kenya is a great place, not only just for work, but for living and for learning yourself and just figuring out what mistakes you shouldn't make and how to make those mistakes. Because here, America's very unforgiving. Absolutely. You know, if you make one mistake, whether it's your fault or not, whether it was on purpose or an accident, they're very unforgiving with the repercussions that happen after that. And Kenya is a lot different with those type of things, especially they're not going to treat a Black man different because we're all Black men. Wow. So I needed to be somewhere where I could be on a level playing field, whether I'm in the right or the wrong. And Nairobi was the place for me. And it also turned out to be one of the it also turned out to be the largest growing technological hub in East Africa, the largest, party city in Africa. It also turned out to be a lot of, real perks that worked out for my career in the best way.
Wow. So you, in the beginning of these conversations, you talk about the management company and the barriers and the difficulties that they're facing in the music industry. Can you just elaborate a little bit? Where do you see now, or what company are you going to focus to promote your music or to promote your career when you get back to Nairobi? Welcome, Baraka.
Well, I'm signed with Ace. Ace is my management team right now. Ace, eccentric, Africa eccentric media, and it's run by Merrick and his team, and so they manage my brands right now. So when I get back, we're gonna hop right back on to roll out the album, and I mean, we've been already in talks while I've been here, just tying up loose ends so that when I get back, it's really straight on set. We shoot videos and we start going on a media tour to radio stations and TV stations. So they've been really holding me down and helping me manage all the brands that I have, because I've been working with Sprite, I've been working with Smirnoff,
Uh-huh.
I just got a Captain Morgan deal, and so when you're doing that and then doing music, which because
Mhm.
all that has nothing to do with music. So when you're doing that and then now you got to go to the studio and then go
Into
do shows. There's a
oh,
lot of things that are happening
at the
that you
same
need. You
time.
need a team that can at least let you know what your emails are looking like or what brands need from you. Because sometimes you read a list of things to do and by next week you forgot
I
all about
forgot.
it. So
Okay, okay,
they
I
really
got it.
helped me just kind of compartmentalize my
Uh-huh.
thoughts and how to execute without
Absolutely.
getting so burnt out.
Okay. Let's shift now these conversations
Mhm.
to we do have a poster behind you and a beautiful flowers
Yeah.
next to it, and that's your brother.
Hmm.
He was an actor, aka Africa, or Samuel Tumaini Nagi Njuguna. Have you thought about first get into the acting now and pick up the baton that he has left us a couple days ago?
Hmm.
And I know this is very emotional because he acted in a couple movies, such as the Fifth Quarters
Hmm.
and the rest of them. You're familiar with them. Let's talk about acting now and AKA Africa. Welcome, uh,
Yeah.
Jacuzzi.
Yeah, so my brother passed away
I'm so sorry first for
couple
that.
couple weeks ago, and we just had the funeral last week.
Mm-hmm,
And yeah, as you know, he was a well-known actor,
mm-hmm,
and yeah, it's been tough, but I never really dealt with grief.
mm-hmm,
This is my first experience on a first-hand scale,
mm-hmm.
and so I'm still going through it, still assessing it.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm,
Still digesting it. Some days are better than others.
mm-hmm,
But as for the question about acting and pursuing it, absolutely.
mm-hmm,
I've always acted. I've always done commercials or, made a couple appearances in a TV show here and there.
mm-hmm,
Had a few small roles in this and that, but I never really pursued it full time because in my eyes, Nagi was the actor,
mm-hmm,
and I always did the entertainment stuff.
mm-hmm.
So that's just the way our dynamics worked, and it was always that's just what it was. But since his passing, I've been thinking about it a lot more, and I've always been pursuing it. I just never had that extra juice to kind of like chase it after as much as my other dreams and goals. But definitely, I will be pursuing acting. I have a couple projects that I'm working on, a couple scripts that I'm writing, talking to some very big publications that stream
Mhm,
TV shows and movies. I
mhm.
won't name them, but you can think of all the biggest publications and streaming sites. I'm talking to them about a couple concepts that I have, and so it's in the works. It's in the works. And the thing about acting is it's a very long term game, and that's the reason I didn't really gravitate towards it because I kind of like going out tonight and leaving with money tomorrow. So acting is more of a you got to write, you got to audition, you got to get a call back, you got to audition, you got to go film it. By the time you film it, you don't even care about the movie anymore. That process was never my favorite
You
process.
okay?
But I've come to find more patience in myself and more patience in the process. So I am working on some stuff that will be out uh, in due time. So yeah, Baraka Jaccuzi will be acting very soon on a very big screen. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So I don't. I know you have a very busy schedule, and when again are you heading back to Nairobi, Kenya?
My flight is for the 18th, but
Okay,
I
okay,
might need to finish up some things here.
oh,
So
okay,
maybe the week of the 25th. Yeah,
okay.
the last week of July.
Okay, before we end this interview now, what is your last word now with respect to all of this what we have covered,
Mhm.
and I think it's not more than 10 or 15 minutes. What is your last word with the respect to the entertainment, music, and acting to the people here in Colombia and the people back in Nairobi, Kenya, and in East Africa? Welcome, Baraka Jacuzzi.
Uh, oof. My last word. I would say, after my brother passed away, it definitely put into perspective what is important, what should I hold as importance, and how to balance and navigate through that. And I think what I found is important now is um, you need to be intentional with what you're doing. If you're chasing a dream, you got to be super intentional. Otherwise, you're just wasting time.
Okay.
And same thing with family. You need to be intentional.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you're just wasting time because you never know how much time you have for anything. You never know how much time you have with somebody. You never know how much time you have to pursue a career. Let's say I break my arms today. I don't know. Maybe I won't be able to hold a microphone, and
Mhm.
so you never know how much actual time you have, whether it's on pursuing a career, whether it's pursuing a relationship with a friend. And I think to be intentional is the key. And nowadays, I'm just trying to have more intention with everything, whether it's speaking to my mother, whether it's speaking to my girlfriend, whether it's uh, pursuing an audition, whether it's writing a song. I feel like intent is what kind of is my new fuel for almost everything in life. Because without intention, it's pretty much it's meaningless.
Mhm.
And I realize, things that don't hold meaning to me, they don't help me at all. And
Absolutely.
I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of times people chase things that don't hold any meaning to them.
Mhm.
And it may seem like it means something at the moment, but when you look in hindsight, it really didn't mean anything. And then you kind of miss out on the things that you did care about so deeply, but at the time you didn't think was a meaningful moment of intention to give. So I would say be intentional at all times and be present at all times.
Mhm.
You only have now. Yesterday is a mystery.
Mhm.
Today is going to be history. So,
And tomorrow
and tomorrow is the future.
it's the future.
So that's me, man. Live in the moment, man, and let's get to the
Absolutely.
future.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let me ask you the last song you just dropped with the Tanasha
Mm-hmm.
Kama.
Mm-hmm.
Talks a little bit about that before I let you go because I know you're you're in a very busy schedule.
Karma.
Kama, yes.
Karma was a dope song. I mean, I made it with
Abs-
Tanasha Donna. I was at her
uh-huh,
house one day.
uh-huh,
We called the producer over. We just felt like making some music.
uh-huh,
He made us that beat on the spot, and
uh-huh,
pretty much we made the song in
uh-huh.
an hour.
Boom.
And we didn't take too much time to think about it. I don't know how the chorus of Karma came about, but Tanasha came up with the chorus
Mhm.
quick and easy, and then we just made that song. It's just like two best friends hanging out, man. It was like eating a meal.
I
It
see.
just 1 minute the food's there, the next minute the food's over.
Boom.
So it just flew by. And then shortly after we went to do a tour in
Uh-huh,
Europe.
uh-huh,
That went great.
uh-huh.
I think we went to do a tour in Europe. We went to Germany, went to Italy.
How was it?
It was fire. It was amazing. It was
Uh-huh.
amazing. I didn't know we had so much love in Europe like that, and we can't wait to go back. But yeah, then we came back from Europe, and then we shot the video in Kibera.
Uh-huh.
It was also another great experience. I always love shooting my videos in Kibera. The love out there is always unmatched.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, man, shout out to Tanasha. She's doing great. She's been flying all around the world since then, dropping new music,
Uh-huh.
being a mother, being a fashion icon, being a sex icon, sex symbol. Alhamdulillah, inshallah, she's doing good. And yeah, shout out to my girl T Dollar, man. That's my dog.
Absolutely. Okay. So before I let you go again, I want to ask you this question. All right. So when are you coming back to Colombia and please to perform like an official tour here in Colombia or United States? Talks a little bit about that, your future plan.
I've been talking to some promoters and stuff like that, but right now the time wasn't really for me to come and perform right now. So when I come back, which will be pretty soon,
Uh-huh.
to my calculations, it'll be pretty soon, and I can't say when because I have so much work to do when I get back to Kenya, but it will be very soon because I do need to be around the family right now, and I just need to tie up some loose ends here as well.
Mhm.
So let's say top of next year. Let's
So
say top of next year,
okay.
2024.
Okay.
You'll catch me on a southern stage very soon.
So okay. Well, thank you very much, Baraka Jaccuzi, for joining American Swahili News and Swahiliville Online TV. Thank you, Baraka.
Appreciate it.